Honorable Member of Parliament for Milanzi is asking the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development at A, how many feeder roads were earmarked for rehabilitation in Milanzi parliamentary constituency in 2022, word by word? Our response, Madam Speaker, is that government is indeed rehabilitating the feeder roads in Milanzi constituency as follows. 1, C6 via Mzime Katawa to Chinzule in Dole Ward, Kafumbwe via Kalimeta Road in Kampambe and Katuula and Kazala wards, and 4, T4 ROD 125 Chikondane via Umozi in Kazakaloa ward. Madam Speaker, it is important for me to inform the Honorable Member of Parliament through this August House that the progression on these roads has stalled as a result of there being no sufficient funds to continue. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions, Honorable Member for Milanzi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, considering that work has stalled on these roads, are there any plans to engage new contractors, and also when do you release funds for these works?
The Honorable Minister of Rural Development, Community, Local Government and Community, sorry. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you very much once again, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Member, for your question. The commencement of new contracts and consequently the commencement of the rehabilitation of these roads is a function of budget provisions, which is also a function of availability of funds. I have been in close engagement with yourself, Honorable Member of Parliament, to the effect that, as your colleagues have done in areas that were threatening to cut off, provisions were made for your council to prepare the bills of quantities in order for us to attend to those as emergencies, Madam Speaker. But for the moment, if and only if funds are available, are we going to re-enter new contracts and get Treasury Authority and then appoint contractors via public tender, and then works will commence. Further, it is important that you check, Madam Honorable Member, with your council, if they submitted these roads under our current 10-year road sector development plan, so that we can understand whether or not these roads are indeed a high priority in your area. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Any further supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Through you, Madam Speaker, I would like to find out from the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development what qualifies a road to be of priority. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, there is no caste description of what is classified as priority road, save to say that roads that are of high economic value, meaning they provide connectivity in areas where there are economic activities, that would normally be classified as economic and therefore roads of very high priority in terms of their maintenance. This information, again, can only be obtained from the local authorities in the local jurisdiction, and they're the ones who would give the primary information of what road must earn priority attention. That's what I would answer Honorable Member of Parliament for Kasenengwa. In the case of Musoro Road, which you asked yesterday, as you went away to grab a seat in Luangwa, we deliberated on that road, and congratulations, by the way, we are in order, because we are civil people. That road, Musoro, is a very high priority road, and so it is up to the local authority to advise the ministry which they consider to be a road of high priority.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, thank you. I just want to have a clarity from the Minister of Local Government. If Honorable Pierre goes back to the local authority and she found out that the loads she thinks and convinces council that these are periodic loads and they're not in that 10-year plan, is there any chance that they can write to resubmit the list to the Minister of Local Government? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
From my little understanding of the question, Madam, the MP for Nyimba is speaking to the issue of maybe incompetence on the part of people who are in the local authorities. The local authorities are structured in such a way that they operate under directorates, which include Director of Engineering, Director of Administration, and so on and so forth. So if somebody omitted a road that has currently been on the cards for work, one would only assume it's deliberate or they're incompetent. Therefore, they should not be in a job. In the unlikely event that that happened in Milanzi constituency, it would also rub off from the councillor and indeed the MP herself, because I know she knows her constituency very well. And this is the reason why she may have brought this question. So really, the answer would be in her hands. That's what I think. It would be in her hands to see whether or not her staff in the council submitted these roads to be in the 10-year road sector program for our administration. Maybe to take advantage of this question, to ask members of parliament to be involved in the operations of the council, to find out such raw basic information, so that even as you bring these questions over, you already have half the answer. Madam Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lumezi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and Honorable Minister, permit me to say that it gratifies to note that today most of the answers are those with a lot of humbleness. That's the way it should be.
Honorable Member for Lumezi, you are not the assessor of how questions. Just ask your question.
I've forgotten my question. Thank you.
I don't know whether we call that humbleness. Since there are no further supplementary questions, there is a point of order being raised by the Honorable Member for Zambezi East.
Madam Speaker, I would always rise here on a point of order, citing Standing Order number 65, when the decorum and etiquette of this House is threatened by irrelevance on the floor of this House. Our rules are as prescribed by that standing order I've cited, are very illustrative. Is the honorable member who just created a little bit of drama here in order to continue on that trajectory, wasting the time of this honorable house with the trivia and the like, such that we have a lot of business to cover here. Is he in order to continue in that trajectory without facing consequences for his actions? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lumezi was definitely out of order. So was out of order for that conduct. We'll leave it at that for now. Can we make progress? The clerk will now read the order of the day.
Thanks. His Excellency the President's address, motion of 13th September 2022, resumption of debate.
When the House adjourned yesterday, Thursday, 15th September 2022, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Member for Kabwe Central that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. Any further debate? We have a lot of members who have not debated. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Kafula-Futa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according the people of Kafula-Futa submit their humble debate on the floor, on the motion on the floor. Kindly allow me to congratulate the Patriotic Front on their victory in Luangwa. We celebrate with you. Madam Speaker, I wish to take a different angle in the debate on the presidential speech because a lot has been said by a number of honorable members. And I also share the same, the opinion that the achievement that the UPND government has achieved cannot be questioned at all. We've seen fuel prices coming down. We've seen the appreciation of the kwacha. We've also witnessed the great employment of the 30,000 teachers, 11,200 health workers. So the achievements are unquestionable. And I wish to say something on the achievement that I believe we've scored in my constituents. And my debate will really lean on the CDF, the increased CDF. As I stand in this honorable house, Madam Speaker, I've got 77 graduates from the TVTC who did bricklaying, carpentry, metal fabrication, tailoring, and food production. So I should say that my constituency has changed just over this short time. 77 graduates who have attained skills to improve their lives. I've also got 88 students at Nortec, and 18 of them graduated in the operations of caterpillars and things like that. I've received numerous calls, Madam Speaker, from parents of the graduates and the graduates themselves on the fact that they feel that I've done a great job as a member of parliament, but I realize that the thanks should not come to me. I'm here to convey the thanks to the vision of the President and the UPND as a government. So I convey the thanks of the many people from Kaflafuta. I, however, have one concern, Madam Speaker. As I've already said, we have 77 graduates from TVTC, and these graduates have not yet engaged in tangible work because of the prohibitive guidelines that demand that they need to have so many documentation before they can commence to work. My prayer through you, Madam Speaker, is that we tone down on the requirements for contracts to be given out. Because as it is, I know we have so many jobs that need to be done in my constituents. We have construction work, which we already have bricklayers. We have people have done metal fabrication as well as carpentry. So to me, I shouldn't look anywhere else to acquire desks for the schools that we are going to construct. Metal fabricators will work together with the carpenters to ensure that we have desks in our constituents. I've already had a sample of doing this at Mutava School, where the school had 125 frames of desks. And we engaged the young people that knew how to fix this and that, and they've done a fabulous job. And the kids at the pupils at Mutava are no longer sitting on the floor. So I think that the part that really needs addressing here is that of slowing down on the requirements, you know, before contracts are given out, because we might find ourselves killing the expertise or the skills that the students acquired if they take too long to engage in work. So it is my sincere prayer to the powers that be that we slow down on the requirements that are needed to give out the contracts. In the President's speech, he also talked about the rule of law, which he has always talked about. He talked about it in, during campaign time. And I believe that this has yielded immense results because we can see it. I, however, observe that for the rule of law to operate effectively, it should work hand in hand with the separation of powers. So on one hand, we have the rule of law, and on the other, we have the separation of powers to enable us stick to our offices. I'm saying this because right now, I think some of us have problems with the DCs who think that because they own the district, they can go anywhere and do whatever they want to do. So if we had a proper separation of powers, we would work in collaboration and lessen confusions in our constituencies that in the end will slow down development. So I really pray that that issue would be addressed so that we are able to work effectively and work as a team instead of fighting one another. So with those few words, Madam Speaker, I wish to rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mulobezi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving us an opportunity to say something on the speech by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia. The President has demonstrated strong leadership in this country. He has got a vision which I admire a lot. The President's speech is non-controversial. It was a straightforward plan which he has for the country. He talked about the economy, which is actually expanding exponentially. This is supported by various indicators, economic indicators like exchange rate, inflation, and the food basket, which has actually come down. He talked about various developments in the country, in the 10 provinces. He didn't select specific provinces, but it's all inclusive. He talked about value addition, the manganese in Wapla. He talked about the CDF again, which everybody is happy, all MPs were very happy with the CDF. It's adding towards the development. So let us appreciate efforts of others. We also talked about the 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars talked about agriculture. In this agriculture, we're going to have talked about fish farming. He talked about beekeeping, which we really need in the Mulobezi constituency. He also talked about mining. I'm not going to dwell much in the mining because others have already expounded on that. He talked about tourism. Now, tourism, the critical part which I got from the speech is a single license system so that we can expand tourism. The other, and among the 4 pillars, the last one was on the manufacturing. He talked of a company in Kafue which is producing 12,000 liters per month of Mukuyu and the Gai. And he talked about this company expanding to other provinces. And we request that maybe the next station will be Mulobezi, because we need this company. We've got a lot of all the fruits there, including mango, guava, and other fruits. Also talked about 120 secondary schools. This is something which is new, probably in this country, 120 plus 15, which are a lot of schools. And we hope Mulobezi will get a share from these schools. Also talked about continuous registration of voters. In the last elections, a lot of people in Mulobezi did not vote because they could not get the national registration cards. And this plan, which is there for continuous registration of voters, is welcome achievement. It's a first in this country so far. We also talked about decentralization of land to provincial centers. People were suffering, coming all the way from rural areas to come and chase for papers at the Ministry of Lands. Now, since this has been centralized, this will be a welcome plan. Therefore, we need the credit to where it's due. We also talked about the MPs being part of the council, which is something which we have been struggling to achieve. And this is welcome, including the review of the CDF Act. We are waiting for it to come to Parliament. The President also talked about revamping Tazara and the Zambia Railways. This is a good move so that the goods, heavy heavy goods or heavy loads should move away from the road so that we can preserve the road asset. They go onto the train. We also like to request that during the revamping of these trains, the Tazara and the Zambia Railways, it should also be extended to Mlowezi train because it's also carrying animals, it's carrying a lot of items. So it must be also be extended to Mlowezi train. The president also talked about water, which is life in water, small township water projects in Nakonde, Mpika, and others. We would also like to have such projects in Mlowezi constituency because water is life. We also talked about street kids to be rehabilitated. This is a very good move because so far we have got a lot of these kids in the streets. Now, if they become productive, it means Zambia is going to have a lot of productive citizens. We need these children to learn some skills wherever they will be taken. You also talked about decentralization of the Attorney General's chambers in 2 provinces. So far, justice is the only confined in Lusaka, and this decentralization means taking the law closer to the people. So with those, Madam Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate? We still have 55 minutes. Honorable members, let's debate. Otherwise, no sitting allowance. The government chief whip adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Well, thank you very much for being with us on Parliament Television. Business of the House for today has just been concluded. So before we go